cool. Oh my, here goes nothing. So, if you're just joining, thank you. Members only live stream, your auto advocate. Missing the man of the hour every hour, my dad. So, my dad just got his second COVID shot yesterday, the vaccine. Feeling a little bit ill. So, I'm going to do the best I can. Thank you to everyone that's here. Thank you to every Your Auto Advocate member. I know I am the lesser of the two halves when it comes to our dynamic duo, but I'm gonna do the best I can here, and hopefully, knock on wood, my dad's feeling good for tomorrow, so we can do our live stream where we're gonna do the call-in show. Should be feeling okay. So yeah, please bear with me. I'm gonna do my best solo, and we'll see what we can do. So like always with the members only live streams, I sent out the email 2 days ago now, or yesterday, excuse me, and we bumped it back a day, so thanks for your patience. A lot of folks replied to that email. So we'll start today in this show with going through all the email replies that we had, and I'll answer as many of them as I can. I will also be totally honest when I don't know an answer to something, and we will get my dad back involved with either follow-up via email or next week during the live stream. Obviously, these are extenuating circumstances. So let's jump right into the emails. And thanks for everyone that's on the live chat. Yeah, we'll do the best we can. Michael, get a great one-on-one today with Zach. He talked me off the ledge here in Memphis. Michael, you already knew the answer to that car deal. I was just there to help you. Okay, but let me share my screen. Okay, let's get going here. All right, let me zoom in, make sure everyone can see everything. Yeah, that should be good. Hi, Zach. I do have a question for you and Ray. I am looking to purchase a pre-owned Ford Flex. I am interested in specific features, so it narrows the choices pretty significantly. I have found a few available. How much emphasis should I put on the mileage on the vehicle? This may be a question more for Yanni. I enjoy your content very much, and I've been following closely since March of last year and appreciate all the time you've dedicated educating us rookies. Yeah, I'm right there with you, June. Okay, so when it comes to miles on the vehicle, there's a couple resources. One is I would recommend running the actual Black Book value just for different odometer amounts to see how that differentiates the price of the vehicle. The other is a website called Car Edge. So we've talked about Car Edge a bit in the past. So June, I'll reply to your email, and what I'll do is I'll actually send you this Car Edge depreciation data. So they do depreciation curves. So for example, let's do an Acura MDX. So you can see it right here, like what that depreciation curve looks like. But what you're able to do, is you can actually put in, the current make and age and how many miles are on a vehicle to calculate the depreciation for that particular vehicle. So I would definitely recommend taking a peek at Car Edge. So actually, well, I'll do that after the stream. So I'll get back to you, June, on that front. Okay, hey Zach, you guys have obfuscated. Oh yeah, I had a typo going live tonight, but we were really going live right now. I was trying to buy time for my dad. I was hoping he'd feel better, but fingers crossed tomorrow he'll feel better. Doctor's appointment. Okay. All right. Greetings from beautiful New Jersey. Ran a market report on a vehicle with a negotiability score of 50 out of 100. Let's take a peek. Is there anything to question about this? Why has it been sitting there since last October? Let's take a peek. Larry R. mentions that Car Edge also has information about projected maintenance costs. Yes, they did a really good job with the website that they've built. They don't know how they're going to, I've talked to them before. They don't really know how they're going to make money. So hopefully they can find a way that isn't selling leads to dealers to make money. I know they're against that model. So hopefully they'll figure it out because the data and the research they have is really quite impressive. All right, so we're running this VIN. This was for Larry V. Okay, World Subaru. Let's view the report. Yep, so we're up to 153 days. So the question was, is there any concern? Why would a dealer have held onto a vehicle for 153 days when the market average is 57? It's a super fair question. My dad used to tell me stories about one of the dealerships that he worked for, and you've probably heard us talk about it. Thanks for all the well wishes, everyone. Yeah, I hope my dad feels better soon too. You've probably heard us talk about it in different videos. One of the dealers he worked for, they had the fine wine policy, right? The fine wine policy was the longer it stays on the lot, the more valuable it becomes, the better it becomes. And so that's probably what this dealership is, the ownership at this dealership is essentially saying, nope, just hold on to it. So I wouldn't say there's any necessarily any specific concerns, although my dad has also talked about lot rot. So the idea that if a vehicle's sat for a really long time, there could be issues with the vehicle. So maybe just make sure you do a thorough test drive and inspection, outside inspection when you're going to purchase. So there you go, Larry. But definitely, if it's been sitting for that long and the market average is 57, it's going to be a more negotiable vehicle. Yeah, there you go. It's the most negotiable vehicle in a 100-mile radius of where you are. So that's a good one to focus in on. Yeah, Larry says making money, the same issue you have. Yeah, exactly, Larry. If you don't sell leads to dealers, that's like the proven method to make money in this space. Yeah, but obviously we're against doing that. Okay, this is from Daryl. Let me get a sip of water. Well, Gatorade first. Gotta stay hydrated for a solo live stream. Okay, Daryl says, hey guys, I love listening to you all. Hope you love just listening to me, Daryl, because that's what you're stuck with today. I plan on buying a 2021 Kia Sorento Prestige at the end of this month, and I have 2 questions. Okay. I qualify for 2 of Kia's incentives, a $500 customer cash and a $400 military incentive. Wow, I didn't know the $400 military incentive is low. Usually they're $500, but whatever. How do I bring this up when negotiating? Let's assume I was going to offer $41,000. Should I make my offer $41,900 knowing I'll use the incentives, or should I make the offer $41,000? How do I negotiate while using incentives? This is a great question. So my dad has always talked about this. We always talk about it. When you're looking to negotiate a vehicle, you have 2 discounts, the dealer discount and then any applicable manufacturer incentives. You're going to negotiate the lowest OTD from dealer discounts. And then you're going to bring up employee pricing, incentives you qualify for, affinity groups, anything of that nature. You bring that up after you've negotiated the dealer discounts. That comes afterwards. Number 2, with March 31st being the end of Q1, are dealerships typically trying to hit first quarter goals that could get me a discount? Yes, exactly. Absolutely. We have back on the best time to buy a... We were talking about this on Wednesday night during the during the emergency live stream. There you go. Best time to buy a car. I mean, end of the quarter, end of the month, end of the quarter, end of the year. Hi, fellas. Long-time listener, third-time writer. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. If you saw on Wednesday night, we were really excited when folks called in and said long-time listener, first-time caller. Okay, I'm trying to get further insight into how a typical sales manager thinks. Well, you're who is this? Oh, this is Kevin. Kevin, you are SOL, my friend, because I've never been a sales manager. But I could run into the bedroom and ask my dad, but he's asleep, so we're not going to do that. The scenario is that the dealership is 5 cars short to make monthly objective. Do they have a game plan going into the last week of the month? Yeah, my dad's told me plenty of stories about incentivizing different deals at the beginning of the week with the sales staff, so I would imagine that yes. On Monday for the last week, yes, the answer to this is yes, absolutely. On Saturday, there's still 5. Yeah, exactly. My dad would tell stories about like some of the craziest gimmicks he would do to like rally the troops on Monday morning meetings, or, you know, like the last weekend of the month. I can't speak for him, obviously, but I know there's gimmicks that go on. And obviously, if you're at the end of the quarter and you've got the manufacturer incentive in place, and we're talking about 6-figure checks on the line, the dealerships are going to be happy to give up $300, $400, $500. Of course, even $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on certain deals. That's how you end up on TrueCar seeing like the best price. Someone got a unicorn deal because the dealer got a $100,000 check stroked back to them from the manufacturer. Do sales managers give their salespeople an idea of what price will be acceptable? I'm really not sure, so I'm not going to even try to answer that one. Would many sales managers make a statement such as make any sale behind dealer cost so that we sell 5 cars? Yeah, I've heard my dad talk explicitly about exactly that, Kevin. Now, and Kevin, you've reached out in the past through the emails or through the chat. You've got it. I mean, you could go, I think, go into a dealership and truly understand what's driving their decision making. So all that is spot on. Glenn says, please discuss dealer service fees, which incidentally almost never have a service invoice associated with them. Yeah, it's fluff. It's the same thing as the doc fee, same thing as the processing fee. See it more on used vehicles than you do on new cars, but it's the same exact thing. So if it's taxable, I'm wearing the shirt today. If it's taxable, it's negotiable. So that's a fee that you can absolutely negotiate on with the dealer. Okay. Yep. Is that a typo? Yeah, I made a typo. I'm human. Hi guys, will a Volvo dealership receive the same markup percentage of the MSRP if the customer buys or leases a vehicle through Volvo's A plan versus buying or leasing the same vehicle using standard methods? Will the dealership receive... So I think I sensed some confusion just from the question. The markup from invoice price to MSRP doesn't change. If A plan for Volvo might be the same exact thing as like X plan or Y plan or Z plan for Ford. It's just some sort of affinity-based pricing or employee-based pricing. That doesn't change the amount of margin that's built in from invoice to MSRP. So back at the website, we have this page where we have all the Ford invoices, for example. So let's look at one just like as a for instance. So let's look at a Ford F-150. And on Ford invoices, so I make sure everyone can see. Yeah. So on Ford invoices down here at the very bottom, right, we've got A and Z plan, we've got X plan. That doesn't change the fact that if we scroll up a little bit, here's the MSRP and here's the invoice price. So when you're working a car deal and you have, like, for example, X plan on Ford, it's just affinity pricing. So that's the same. That's the price you're going to get if you go through Costco, Sam's Club, TrueCar, or if your employer has some sort of connection to Ford. Like, that's just what you're going to get. That doesn't change the fact that there's this much margin. This much margin in the car deal. So let's go back to the question. I want to make sure I've answered. Yeah, exactly. No, so the margin stays the same no matter what. Will you hear frequently from dealers that because we're selling it to you at X plan pricing or A plan pricing that we can't negotiate anymore, we can't discount any further? You'll hear that all the time. What you should say is, or think to yourself is, I'm going to do this at the very end of the month, because absolutely they can discount more if it means selling another unit. Usually it's just a negotiating tactic to say, hey, we're at, once we use like employee pricing of some sorts, we're done. We can't do any more. That's not always the case. End of the month, when you have more leverage, you absolutely can get even more off. Again, unicorn deals, though, you don't want to always expect that you can get, thousands of dollars under invoice or anything like that, especially in today's environment, which leads me to something. Oh, is the screen blurry? I hope it's not blurry. I apologize if it's blurry. My fingers are crossed that it's not blurry. We did recently put out the How to Buy a Car in 2021. So I'll link this in the chat as well. So this is all about buying just for this year. Okay, next one in here. This is from Larry. Okay, Chris, thank you for reassuring me that the screen isn't blurry. Okay, hi Zach. My only thing to suggest to your listeners is to remind them of the power of the last day of the month. Okay. For example, I went into Camelback Toyota on February 28th looking at 2021 Highlanders. As an alumni of Deal School, that is going to get the first honorary. It just doesn't work, right? Like, I don't know. I miss my dad. I wish he was feeling better. Okay, anyway, back to okay. Deal School. I asked to see the invoice price. Always ask to see the invoice. What's the worst thing that can happen? They say no. I sent you a copy of it. When I put the VIN in the YAA site, it said the likelihood of getting a deal was 10% because there's only one model like mine for hundreds of miles. Yeah, that usually means it's not going to be too negotiable. I tried calling other dealers, but there were none in Arizona. To make it more challenging, the car had been on the lot one day. One day? Holy cow. Yeah, that thing's not negotiable at all. The YAA out the door price was over $53,000. Invoice was $46,000. MSRP was $51,000. I got it for $47,750 out the door. So you are correct that the last day of the month is a powerful time for the consumer to get, and good deals can be had. I told the sales manager I wanted to help them meet their volume goals if they could help me meet my price goals. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Larry. And yes, absolutely. Last day of the month. We're coming up to the last day of the quarter here, right? It's March 19th, the day that this is, we're all here. 2 more weeks. We got less than 2 weeks to the end of the month and the end of the quarter. That being said, again, the reason we wrote How to Buy a Car in 2021 is just to help reset expectations, just so that we're all on the same page as we're going into the dealership. But yeah, this is a good anecdote. All right, let's see. Okay, this is from Tom. Hello, Zach. Unfortunately, I'm able to join the members live stream due to work. Tom, I hope you're watching the recording. AKA, also to everyone. Larry R says, wow, lots of Larrys on today. Agreed. You're 13 minutes in to a fatherless Your Auto Advocate live stream, and I appreciate you still being here. So thank you. And let's all wish Pops well so that we can go live and do call-in tomorrow night. But you can see I am only one half. I need my other half. I actually really care about my dad, genuinely, like beyond just work stuff. But still, like, it's a lot more fun when he's here. Anyway, we'll keep going through. So Tom says, unfortunately, I'm unable to join due to work. I have a question. Are there any disadvantages to filling out the pre-approved loans on dealers' websites? So I think you're talking about the credit applications on dealers' websites. I have excellent credit and Mazda's running a 0.9% for 60 months promotion. So are there any disadvantages? So let's take a quick look at this. So Mazda, oops. We'll do a little experiment here for everyone. So here in Vegas, there's a couple Mazda dealerships. Most dealerships, obviously, I'm just doing this on the fly, so I could be wrong, but most dealerships have their credit app down at the bottom of the page. Let's see here. Yep, get financing. So when you click on that get financing or fill out the credit app, this is going to be the credit, like the digital credit application for any dealership. Are there any disadvantages to filling this out? Yeah, if you're not going to buy the car from them, then you're going to have a hard pull on your credit, which you don't really want. Ray, aka Pops, and Kimberly. I can't believe I just called my dad Ray. That was weird. Sorry, guys. If we go back, they just worked on the dealership F&I glossary of terms, and so here, let me see. Oh, it's at the very bottom. Yep, hard pull. You don't necessarily want a bunch of hard pulls on your credit profile that can impact your credit score. So if you're not actually going to buy a car from a dealership, don't fill out one of these credit apps. That being said, what we generally recommend is get pre-approved for credit for some sort of financing outside of the dealership, then fill out their credit app and tell them to beat whatever your pre-approval is when you go into the F&I office. So that's our approach. That being said, you don't want to just be willy-nilly filling out credit apps left and right. Okay, Veronica says, thank you, Zach. I would like to ask, how would you approach a car sales individual if you want to use the Costco discount? I am thinking I would like to do that because I get $200 from Costco to spend at the dealer for an additional item. I know it's not much money, but every little helps. Would you be able to respond? Sure, Veronica. So we've done, here, let's do another one on the fly. Costco Auto. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this link in the live chat. So if anyone's watching this in the future, they can also click on that. And I think we might have a screenshot on the page here. No, we didn't. We really should put it on though. But let's go quickly. Costco Auto Program. So we've done a video on this as well. It's down here in the fine print. Oh, I'm going to do my best to try and zoom in on it. Costco and its affiliates do not sell automobiles or negotiate individual transactions. All vehicles are arranged for sale, are subject to availability and price prearranged with the participating franchise dealers. Net, what this ends up meaning down here is a few things. Back when we were looking at that Ford invoice a moment ago, you could actually see, and we'll do this really quick. When we were looking at the Ford invoice a moment ago, it had the affinity pricing, which was the X-Plan pricing. So when you are a franchise car dealer, you have to pay to become a part of the Costco program. So recognize that off the top. You actually literally have to pay to join the program to get the monthly leads that Costco is going to send you. So you've got an expense tied to that. Then you pre-negotiate what the prices are for all the different vehicles, aka it's the affinity or employee pricing that the dealership gets from the manufacturer. That's 9 times out of 10 what the Costco price is, the Sam's Club price is. We generally see, and I've got emails in my email inbox, which, by now you guys know I've always got a lot of emails in my email inbox. Under 1760 though. But emails in my email inbox from people who have gotten Costco quotes, then found other dealers who weren't in the Costco program, gone to those dealers, said, hey, here's the Costco quote, give me $500 less than it, and you have a car deal. And you get a car deal. And so I think my comment here to you, Veronica, would be, go ahead and get the Costco quote, figure out what dealers in your area are participating in the Costco program, then find the 1 or 2 that aren't in that 100-mile radius, take your Costco quote and say, hey, at the end of the month, $500 or $1,000 below this price, you've got a car deal today. So you're talking about getting $200 back in your pocket because they're giving you $200 to spend at the dealership. Take that quote, walk over to another dealership that isn't participating in the Costco program. Start with $1,000. Do it at the end of the month, end of the quarter. $1,000 below this, you've got a car deal. And if you meet in the middle and you get $500, there you go. Instead of $200 in your pocket, you have $500 in your pocket. Oh, here we go. Larry R with a compliment. So we are going to take a moment to bask in that glory. Larry R says, Zach, impressive work solo. I've been watching for a year now. Could you imagine what this would have been like if you had to work solo in the beginning? Your experts have trained you well. Yeah, I can tell you exactly what it would have been like, Larry R. There would be no audience and there'd be no helpful information being shared. I've asked my dad a couple times, and Kimberly as well, what role I could actually work at in a dealership at this point. And they don't think I could be a GM because I don't know the service side of the business well enough. Yanni would have to teach me more, but my dad feels confident I could go be a sales manager. So it's pretty cool. I've learned a heck of a lot from both of them. Thank you for acknowledging, because this is tough, man. I'm like driving on the computer. Got to make sure I'm talking into the mic. I look at thank you, Larry. Appreciate the kind words. Tabby says, this might be a silly question. How do I go about scheduling the one-to-one deal analysis included in my membership? Tabby, that's not, well, I won't do it live on the stream, but I will, I'll follow up with you and send you the link. Which, yeah, thank you to everyone that's a part of this. The fact that you are members means the world. So let me mark that as unread so we make sure we come back to that one. Okay, here we go. We got something from Heath here. Long-time listener, first-time emailer. I love how that's becoming a thing. All right, let me get a sip of this and then we'll go through it. Okay. I've been listening to you guys from what feels like the beginning. You were both in your apartments and still calling your dad Ray quite regularly, so it was pretty early. Yeah, I'm glad I moved on from that. Okay, I had consumed so many car trainers content because I have an obsessive personality and just loved it. I was able to use your tools some when I bought a car in December, but really had a unique way of using it as a car, as I hit a car and totaled my other car in November. Sorry to hear that. 6 months to give me a quote of comparables. I used your market price report to show dates of what the car was on the day it was hit and was able to get an extra $600. That's awesome. So if I already bought a car, why did I buy a membership? Well, like I said, I am a geek. Okay. Thank you, Heath. And instead of just donating here and there in the live stream, I decided membership would let me play with the new tools and support you guys. Speaking of which, we've got the Black Book data that just came out. We're working on a couple big things that'll be out over the next few weeks. So hopefully everyone that's a part of this can see we're working diligently behind the scenes to like every 2 weeks get something new out the door. So thank you for your patience and your support. I know you know this, you wouldn't have went all in, but I seriously love watching you guys build what is going to be amazing from the ground up. Thank you, Heath. My wife is an F&I manager for a motorcycle dealership and previously worked for PSECU and auto lending that you guys highlighted. Yes, PSECU, let's just do a brief aside. If I'm not mistaken, PSECU, yeah, they do, once you become a member, they have, let's just take a peek. New and used cars. Oh, yeah, here you go. Their rates are, like, once you're a member, these are the rates you get. So just if you become a member, once you're a member, this is what you get. There's no, like, other credit app or anything like that. So this is really good. This is why we always recommend going to credit unions for outside financing before you go to the dealership. Okay, and I love telling her about this. That's awesome. She must be a little fascinated because she brought you guys up how I used the days on the lot in my car negotiation to a customer of hers that is a GM at a local dealership. This is so interesting. I seriously feel like I am watching Bezos in his garage fulfilling orders and building Amazon. High expectations. I hope we can build something that helps that many people. I love the behind the scenes stuff and really love how candid you guys are. Keep up the good work. I've run many small businesses myself, including currently working as a travel agent, and love talking and discussing ideas with my dad that is concurrently running three different businesses, I guess. So just watching the business develop is so satisfying to me. Oh, one more thing before I go. As I said, I wouldn't be using this to actually buy a car and thus don't need my free consultation. Would it benefit you guys if I donated it to use as a giveaway of some kind? If so, I'd be glad to do it. This is the second time we've had someone donate a consult. So I'll have to follow up with you, Heath. We'll definitely donate this to someone. That's awesome. That's really, really awesome. Congrats on how far. Okay, this is super cool. Definitely, obviously I didn't screen this in advance, so maybe I wouldn't have spent as much time. Definitely want to make sure we address everyone's deals, but Heath, this means the world. This is awesome. See a couple things in the live chat. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen, make sure I come back to Heath's email later. Let's see here. Juan says I'm doing well holding down the fort. Trying my best, Juan. Staying hydrated. Debt-free diver. Zach, this is Brian, the Challenger email chain from yesterday. I'm here if you have time to review. Let's do it, Brian. All right, so give me a second, gang. Let me find Brian's email. All right, let's share the screen. Okay, I'm working on a deal for a factory-ordered Charger Hellcat Red-Eye wide body for what I've been told is the true dealer cost. I've seen the invoice, and it truly looks like the invoice price minus holdback plus tax title fees. Excuse me. MSRP, selling price is going to be $7,000 less, so about 9% off MSRP. Oh, there you go. A little less than $7,000. Doc fees $434. Invoice is $84,301. I'm assuming their profit will come from their lot fee and advertising allowance. Of course, there are factory incentives when delivered. I would get those as well. Here's to hoping power dollars return. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so let me just make sure there's no PII on this. Give me 1 second. Yeah, this looks fine. Okay, let's talk about it. Okay, so this is the actual invoice from the manufacturer. So we can see everything over here adding up to our $84,000 invoice price, our $88,315 MSRP. Holdback's going to be $2,668. So there's your first indication why they don't mind selling it at invoice or a little bit below. Employee pricing would have been all the way down at $80,000. Interesting. This doesn't have anything with the floor plan assistance or advertising assistance that I see immediately. However, we've worked on a variety of other Chrysler, now Stellantis products. So for example, I actually think back on YouTube, we have Chrysler. Yep, how to read an FCA, Jeep, Fiat, Chrysler. So, everything in that same family. If I'm not mistaken, the floor plan assistance and the advertising assistance were 1%. I could be off on that. I really don't remember off the top of my head. But you're starting to piece together why the dealership would be willing to sell to you at the price that they've quoted. All that being said, work them on the doc fee. And then obviously, if you have a sense for when the vehicle is going to be on the lot, that would dictate what your factory incentives are going to be. But I think on the surface, this looks clean. If anyone in the chat has also worked on any Challenger deals, and if you can, maybe it's not a big enough discount. I think based on what we've seen here with the invoice and knowing that they're pocketing that holdback, you could maybe be a little more like, hey, give me another $500 off. I see the holdback that you're getting, but I think that looks like a pretty good deal. I think the one comment I'd make is like, if you can get multiple quotes, then you can work dealers against one another. So that's like the only thing that comes to mind for me. But let's see here. If you've got time after Brian with the Challenger, yep, Chris, we'll definitely look at your deal as well. Larry says, Brian, can you go to other dealers to see if they can do better? Get 3 quotes, but the deal looks good, but maybe you can become a unicorn. End of the month is your exactly. Larry, you're the best, man. We need a stamp of approval for you. You really are one of the all-star community members. I can't thank you enough. We joke sometimes that like you sub into my dad's seat, but like you are right now, so thank you. Exactly. Get multiple quotes if you can. End of the month, see if you can get someone to come down. Because what you're able to do, my dad taught me this, when you actually sell a vehicle, you RDR it, you retail delivery report it. You're supposed to RDR the vehicle when someone actually takes delivery, when it's sold. My dad has shared many stories with me of dealerships that he's worked at and other dealerships that he's known of that have RDR'd vehicles before they've actually been sold because you hit your factory incentive and it's sold, but something could actually, you could get audited, you could get screwed. So I just say like end of the month is, even though you're factory ordering, there is still kind of that RDR concept. And so that would be something that you could use as leverage. And by quotes, you mean worksheets. Yes, exactly. So when we talk about here, let me pull up a few just so we can all level set on what we're looking to get from the dealerships when we reach out to them, when we talk about OTD quotes and things like that. I've got in my Google Drive here just a bunch of different worksheets, right? So we want these sheets. We want these ones that are for the particular vehicle price, what's your discount, sales tax, doc, etc. So obviously back in the Your Auto Advocate website, we have the OTD calculator. This data is pretty good. It's not penny perfect. We're working on finalizing our contract with MarketScan, which is one of the preeminent providers of this information to dealers. So if you think about how does a dealership know that they're actually getting like the right numbers on one of these worksheets, It's powered by MarketScan. MarketScan has never worked with a company like Your Auto Advocate before because we don't exist outside of like what we're trying to build and do. Anyway, long story short, you can use the OTD calculator, which is like our best guess based off of the information that we've scraped from either government websites or other websites. But ultimately, what you need to do is get worksheets that look something like this, right? So you can see it's got the retail price, the sales price, the savings, accessories that they're going to add on, yada, yada, yada. Now, it's obviously really helpful when we can get our hands on an invoice because it's super clear what the actual like markup is on the invoice, how much money they're making. If you know what HB stands for, which we all probably do at this point, it's holdback, right? If you see FP or AA, things like that, that's floor plan. So that's like the carrying cost subsidy that the manufacturer provides. AA would be advertising assistance. So you can start to piece together how much money is really coming into the dealer. The one unknown you still have, of course, is what the factory incentives are to the dealership. But that's from, what my dad has shared with us and what if you know people in the car business, that's what they all talk about. Big checks for hitting volume incentives, which also makes sense. I know I wax poetic on this, so I'll try and be quick, but it also makes sense because all of those big manufacturers are publicly traded companies that just have to show growth quarter over quarter. So they'll subsidize the actual like sale of these vehicles so that more and more people are buying their stock and raising their stock prices. But anyway, we can talk more about that another time. Brian, contact a few other dealers. Looks like you've done a really good job here. Also, I hear my dad is awake and he's like yelling very loudly. So give me one second. If he's not going to participate because he doesn't feel well, he can't be yelling. So stay tuned. Give me 1 second. All right, be right back. You can imagine how amused he was that I told him that if you're not going to participate because you can't feel well, or you don't feel well, need you to keep it down. Okay, let's keep going here. We've got Steve. All right. The top of my head is chopped off. There we are. Thank you for saving the day. Give me 1 second. No, I think the top. Can you see the top? I'll just come down a little lower. Okay, I'm back to. See, I don't know if it's as funny when you're just by yourself. It just feels kind of weird. Ray and Zach, I want to share with your members the deal I made in Florida with the wacky dealer fees. As you have indicated, it's all about the OTD price. Okay, let's read this. I started my journey purchasing a car late last month and was able to find a dealer in Florida willing to negotiate after talking with 4 dealers. There you go, Brian. 4 dealers. All the communication was done by phone or email. Made a lowball offer, and they didn't budge on price. First week of March, and I made another offer. Talked to the sales manager, and we agreed on OTD. Then I brought up my trade as a separate deal. That's always what you do. The trade is a separate transaction. Drive the trade-in value. I had a Carvana quote, great, and told them if they were close to the Carvana price, we can finalize the deal. With the tax savings on the trade, the offer for the trade was accepted. I'm attaching the deal without the trade. MSRP, dealer discount, dealer fees, net discount. Wow, with rebates, 21% off of MSRP. Let me make sure there's no PII in this so I can actually open it. Give me 1 second. Ah, thank you. This is a perfect example. Thank you, Steve. If you're going to send these in, please, this is awesome. Like, just exclude your contact information so we can pull it up on the screen more easily. Let's zoom in. So we have our market value selling price, the discount, the rebates, adjusted selling price, taxable fees. So this is what would have been negotiable. Those are your BS, just fluff. The classic Florida $1,000 doc fee, taxes. Yeah, this is an awesome deal. Good job. Shows the persistence contacting multiple dealers. Hey, Steve, you're on. Hey, Steve. Steve, you will get an honorary. God, it's so weird not having... All right. Well, anyway, you get the idea. You get the stamp of approval. This is a perfect example of with new vehicles. Can't do this as easily with used vehicles. My dad, called him Ray again. My dad talks about this all the time. Used vehicles, no two used vehicles are the same. New vehicles, they're exactly the same. So find the dealer that wants to make the deal even more, and you can end up, putting money back in your pocket. It's perfect. Larry R. Here we go. Thank you for this, Larry. I'm looking forward to reading it. In today's video, Ray spoke of a dealership that would set up an F&I appointment 2 weeks to have the customer come back in to fix any errors and omissions. Yeah, this is a good video that we had go out today. I remember filming that one. I don't remember them all, but I remember that one. But the real purpose was to sell additional products, or to bump the rate. I can understand an error being spelling your name wrong or no signature on a form. I can understand them trying to sell additional products and you just say no. Also, Brian said $998 doc fee. That's worse than here, and I think $900 is completely immoral. Florida, man. Brian, Florida is the Wild West of doc fees. And also, just one other comment, and we're going to come back to Larry R's email. I wasn't even sharing my screen. My apologies. I do the console calls, and there's some other folks on our end that do the console calls. So many folks from out of state in Florida say, like, hey, I found this car in Florida, and I'm going to buy it. Like, get the OTD. Like, I don't know. Actually, I'm not even going to harp on it, but just get OTDs, because then when you look at the OTDs from Florida cars, you see why they're advertised so cheap. All right, let's see. I don't understand how they can consider an error being the rate we quoted you was wrong. We need to increase the rate by X%, or you owe us $500 for the nitrogen we put in the tires. What is your recourse then? Return the car? Those items seem beyond errors and omissions. Yeah, that's a really good call out. We recently experienced this. I'm trying to think. It was a woman we did a live stream when it occurred. She reached out to us via Facebook Messenger. The dealership, she canceled her extended warranty, and when she canceled the vehicle service contract, they then told her that she had to finance through a new bank, and they bumped her rate. And she ended up going through with it, but not bumping the rate. She was able to explain to them that she wasn't willing to do that. I forget if she contacted a lawyer or not. Larry R., I'm going to leave this alone simply because I'm not the expert. This is somewhere where Kimberly or my dad would have to touch on it. But there is definitely and also our lawyer for Your Auto Advocate, Randy. We had him on the podcast once when we used to keep the podcast going. Maybe we should have him. Can you actually let me know in the live chat, Larry R., amongst others, if you're watching this after the replay, would you have an interest in Randy, who is our lawyer? He's literally our counsel for YAA to make sure that we're not doing anything illegal. Can you let me know, would you be interested in us interviewing him and asking some of these questions for a video? Because Randy has done law, been an attorney for other automotive like tech platforms and also for dealer groups before. So he would offer a really unique perspective, I think. All right, Larry R., I'm going to mark this as unread so that I can come back and read later on as well. All right, we got Brian here. Looking forward to the live stream today. Can you take a look at the deal on the attachment during the call? Lots of fees. There you go, but it's Florida. All right, let's run this in the market price report, and then while I do that, I will also make sure there's no PII. Just give me a second. All right, Dave said he would love to have. It would be great to hear some legal stuff. Yeah, let me see if Randy's great. Let me see if he's willing to do it. All right, 2018 Acura Rlx, good looking car. 3 days on the lot. Probably not going to be able to negotiate too much. Used cars, like we talk about with the Black Book report, prices are going up, not down. Dealers know that, so they're holding on to inventory, or they're selling it, at price, not really negotiating. And then with 3 days on lot, there's no incentive to negotiate at that point. And there's not really similar vehicles in your area. Yeah, this one's not that blue that you were interested in. Also, off-lease only. I've heard some really sketchy things about off-lease only. Yeah, I would definitely, obviously with either of these or any of these, you would do a pre-purchase inspection. Let me make sure there's no PI on the deal, and then let me pull it up. Okay, Brian, there is PII. Yeah, Larry says more experts would be excellent. Okay, yeah, I'll ask Randy. He's like he's like a rock star in automotive law. Like he's really well known for what he's done. So I'll have to ask him if he's up for it. Okay, so we've got the selling price, which let's double check back in the market price report. Yeah, $33,383. Then we have the taxable fees, so that's the fluff, then the $1,000 doc fee, non-tax fees, that's going to be all your DMV stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's incredible, but without the taxes, obviously. So subtract $3,500 from this. You've got a $34,500 price, essentially. Is that worth it? I really don't know. But looking at the market conditions and what you have available to you, that's what they're going for. So negotiating on this is going to be really tricky. The thing that you have to protect yourself with is on the back end of the deal. So on the financing and making sure that you're not checking the box for the extended warranty. If you can get them to come down $1,000 for all the fluff and the fees, that's incredible. In this market, 3 days on the lot, fairly certain that's exactly what my dad would say too. Tony says, if you purchase an extended warranty or service contract on a new or used, and the vehicle is involved in an MVA and totaled. John's still here. Hey, John, I'm riding solo, John. Do you see this? Can you cancel and get a refund? Tony, might ask you to follow up on that and give me a little more clarity what you're asking. If you purchased a vehicle service contract and then the car gets totaled, you can't get a refund on the vehicle service contract. I forget what the clauses are in those contracts, but I mean, you purchased it. And I'm not even going to try and off the top of my head remember. I could pull up a sample contract so that we could look at that, but maybe you could restate that question in the live chat, and I'll do the best I can to address it. Okay, so that was this one. Let's keep going. We're almost there. Chris, I know you're here, so let's make sure we spend some time on your deal. Hello, I'm hoping I can get some advice before I go to the dealership on Saturday morning. Exactly. If you guys like the Friday afternoons because everyone's going to go shopping. Oh, there you go. Brian says, Tony, happened to my wife. She was refunded the extended warranty price. Great. I'll have to pull up a sample contract so that we can all take a peek together. Yeah, thanks for mentioning that, Brian. If you enjoy us doing the members only streams on Fridays, let us know, because then I know a lot of people go shopping on Saturdays and Sundays. So just let us know. Okay, I'm trying to balance the surging used car market with some model year-end deals. 2020 Mazda CX-5. Perfect. I helped 2 or 3 people last week on CX-5 deals, so I'm excited to see what you've got here, Chris. I'll pull that up so we have it ready. 2010 Scion, few quotes from Carvana and Vroom. Let's run this. Oh, I don't have the mileage on it. Chris, if you let me know what the mileage is, I'd also be interested, to run it in the trade-in valuation. Yeah, so let me know what the odometer is, and I think I can probably figure out what state you're in based off the dealer, but let me know and I'll run that. My biggest question is, when I ran the market price report on this car, the suggested price was $29,069. Let me run it. Man, these dealer websites have so much stuff. Awesome. Thanks, Chris. What state are you in, by the way? Because I'll use that as well. North Carolina. You're a good guy. Thank you. All right, so we've got 91,000. All right, so we'll break this all down piece by piece, but let's see here. And then we are in NC. Okay, so I mean, if you're getting $2,700 to $3,000, maybe you could get something from a dealer that's a little bit higher, but I don't know. That seems about right. If you have, I guess my question to you, Chris, would be, do you have service records and do you have both sets of keys? I know we mentioned that down here at the bottom, but that would be the other thing that would help you out. There you go. Alex, also, thank you, Alex. Tony, my mom had a refund issued to her when her car was totaled. There you go. So I apologize for misstating if I said anything other than that. Although I, of course, look contract by contract, but I remember reading clauses about if the vehicle's totaled. Okay, back to this deal though. All right, so the suggested offer was $29,669. The old price was $31,325. But if you guys have discussed, Mazda doing deep discounts on the 2020s. They are indeed. In total, it looks like they're already taking off $5,071. When that kind of discount is already applied, is there any negotiating to be done? Is there anything I can ask by email between Friday and Saturday when I head into the dealership? For example, should I be trying to get $29,069 before that $5,000 is taken off? They're offering a lot of different stuff, large discount, potential to overpay for a trade-in. Haven't gotten there yet. Good, treat them as the separate transactions. Okay, Chris says both sets of keys, service records, don't believe so. My wife's car, and she had it predating. Okay, gotcha. That's okay. Service records help, but aren't necessary. They're going to do an inspection of the vehicle anyway, and having the leverage of the other quotes from Carvana and Vroom is your best case. I would actually PDF the report from your auto advocate, though, with the black book numbers and take that in with you as well. I don't think that's such a bad idea. Honestly, and it updates every single day, so rerun it again tomorrow before you go to the dealership. It'll probably go up a couple dollars. Okay. And then financing, I'm just assuming I won't even be able to combine any of these, so I've already pre-qualified elsewhere. Okay, that's good. All right, let's see. Okay, give me 1 second here, Chris. I want to make sure you've got no personal information in the deal. So give me a second to kind of frame it up on my screen. Okay, let me share my screen again. Okay, so we've got here trade-in, but we don't have a trade allowance on the sheet. So we've got the $31,325. That's the selling price. $5,071 discount. Then they're bringing $800 back in for a dock fee. Okay, so first thing that I'm thinking about, and I'm just looking back in the market price report to see, yep, perfect. There are some others in the area as well. Oh, are they all at the same dealership? No, you've got two different dealerships here. So I don't know if you've contacted the other dealership, Joe Maz, I guess is the other one, and then you're working at Keffer. I would contact Joe Maz, and I would see, that's the first thing I do is I'd say, beat this quote. The other thing that comes to mind immediately when I see this is breaking out that discount line. Let's actually take a quick peek. Give me 1 second. So 2020 Mazda CX-5 cash. I forget. I don't know if it's still in play for this month, but last month I think it was $2,500 or $3,000 it may have even been. What trim level were we looking at? Touring, yep. So they've got the $1,500 right now. I think they actually had $2,500 last month. But either way, yeah. So that's going to include. So when the things I'm thinking about, just to make it crystal clear for you, Chris, would be of those $5,071, how much is coming from the dealer versus how much are incentives. So obviously there's the $1,500 that they're applying there, but that would be the next question to ask them is, okay, can you please break out where the $5,071 is coming from? Yeah. And you can see they've got you at their internet price. Yeah, $26,254. Yep, $26,250. So honestly, if you get them to waive that dock fee, if you could get the $800 removed from the selling price, I think that would be a great place to be. And the way that you could do that is getting the other dealer. Let's see here. What was it called again? Joe Maz. Get the other dealer to play. Get them to come down to, what would that ultimately take your OTD to? Yeah, right at 27. If you can get one of them at 27 and then you use that as leverage back and forth with the other, that would be the only thing that I would really recommend doing between now and taking delivery, would be getting two of them to dance and work. And the other thing would be if one of them will come up even more on the trade, right? So if I'm in your shoes, even if you're not interested in the one that's over here at Joe Maz, I would contact them and I would at least get a quote so that you could work them against one another. But these Mazdas, I mean, it's selection of vehicle, right? If you're in the market to buy a Kia Telluride right now, it's not going to say discount $5,000. It's going to say additional dealer markup $5,000. So it's all about selection of vehicle. You're getting a better value because you're purchasing something that the dealers need to move, that the manufacturer needs to move. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of guidance. I would contact the other dealer, start working them against one another. And ultimately, at the end of the day, the vehicle you've selected is one that's relatively reasonably priced, all things considered, and especially in this market. I'm coming back to the live chat. Just give me a second. Doing all this talking solo. Man. All right, let's see. So getting to 27,000 is a solid approved deal. Yeah, absolutely. I'm interested. I can, Chris, I'll do it offline, but I'll double back in my email and see what other folks were able to get to on CX-5's different regions and things like that. I think it was $2,500 was the cash incentive last month. So that's also why some of those deals might have been a little bit lower, but really getting the dock fee removed and the tactic again to use is two dealers against one another, that would be a win. All right, we've got John here. Oh, and also because you're treating them as two separate transactions with the trade-in, I mean, that's another factor to bear in mind. So like continue to bring that up with the other dealership as well, see what their quote would be. It's a lot of work, but you know, we're talking about maybe $1,000 back in your pocket, so it should prove worthwhile. John Lynham, got it right the first try, John. I did check the black book on my trade on the YAA site and then gave me a good price on the trade. So you confirmed that the dealer gave you a fair price on the trade. That's good. Doc does have some PII on the top. Oh, yeah. Chris, that's why I kept it off. That all makes sense. We'll hit Joe Maz and also find out from Keffer what the breakout of the discount was. Perfect. Appreciate that, Chris. And I think there was one more in my email inbox, so give me a second here. Okay, Alex says, hello, Zach. Are dealers supposed to show the over MSRP price when they list a vehicle online? I went to see some, and when I showed up the vehicle, it was marked up $15,000. Chris, again, vehicle selection, right? Like you're doing the right thing by looking at a 2020 CX-5. A Toyota Tacoma marked up $15,000. Are they supposed to show that price on their website? I don't know. You probably wouldn't have gone in if you knew it was $15,000 more. We talk about that a lot, like on Car Gurus and Auto Trader, and the whole proliferation of fake internet pricing. That all exists so that you can get in the door. Are they supposed to? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It's like how broken this industry is that you have to lie to people to get them in the door so that you can hopefully close a deal. Obviously, a $15,000 additional dealer markup is crazy. I don't really know how else to react to that. Okay. I'm going to pause. I'm going to see if there's anything else that comes through the live stream. 50 minutes. Oh. You know what this means? This means the next members only live stream, I'm going to set it up and I'm going to see if my dad can do it all solo. See if he can get through 17 emails. That'd be really unfair. No, maybe I would help him with the tech stuff. But anyway, yourautoadvocate.com. Thank you to everyone that's been on the stream. Next week we won't have the interruption. Like we'll make sure we're not planning around vaccines, or hopefully, knock on wood, we're not sick. If you're not a member and you're watching the replay and you want to become a member, yourautoadvocate.com. I guess let me do my one little sales pitch for folks if they're not a member. Back at the website, which I can get to this way. We have our different membership tiers. I know end of month is coming up, so if you want to schedule one-on-one consult calls, be sure to set those up sooner rather than later. There's the different tiers. Thank you to everyone who is a part of the community. Happy Friday. Enjoy your weekend, and thank you guys for everything, and thanks for sticking around. I tried my best here, so I know it's probably rough with one person, but yeah, thank you. Really appreciate it. I'm gonna go check on my dad now. Have a good night and a good weekend.